All right. Those of you in the room, it is a packed house today, so that's awesome. What I have up on the board is the timeout with PSOA QR code on the right-hand side, the team registration on the left-hand side. That's more for people at home watching this video. All right, so if you have not completed the team, if you did baseball or softball, we are asking you to do football. There's different questions, different information for the coaches. And then I hope everybody's a subscriber to the YouTube channel by this point, and you should get notifications when there's a new short, live meeting started, new video, and post. I know there were, I think, 5 people answer the rules question today. All right, so, and I have 2 already scheduled for the next 2 days. The last thing before we start going, Sunday, October 12th, I'm still working on what course and time. It will be the afternoon. I just don't know what time in the afternoon. I try to get it as late as possible. That way, if baseball umpires want to umpire a game or football officials want to officiate 2 games, they could do both in one day. But that is sort of a save the date. All right. Rule changes real quick before we get into the test, and there are questions on these rule changes. Forward fumbles out of bounds are returned to the spot of the fumble. Referees, clock will start on the ready for play because the fumble happened inbounds. So we're bringing the ball back to the spot which was inbounds. Therefore, it will start on the ready for play. I have pictures up there. You see the Raiders. He is diving for the end zone. The ball is loose. It's a forward fumble into the end zone. Guess what the result of the play still is? Touchback. Again, the intent of the rule is not to give the offense an advantage. If they change the whole entire rule for all situations, this would obviously forward fumble out of bounds, bring it back to the half-yard line. Offense's ball still, that's a huge advantage. All right, so yes, new rule, forward fumble out of bounds, bring it back. But that touchback play, we can't give the offense an advantage. All right, so you might have that pylon play throughout the year. So somebody on the crew might say, no, new rule, forward fumble out of bounds, bring it back. Not on a touchback. All right, yep. All right, so kick out of bounds. I do not believe there's a rules question on the test, so I'm going to cover it here. Ball crosses the sideline, then touched. All right, kick out of bounds. All right, and with the new mechanic, at the end we'll go over the new kick mechanics again. The H and L, you should have a really good look on did that ball completely cross the sideline. So once that ball completely crosses the sideline, now we have a kick out of bounds, whether it touches a player, any player, or touches the field or out of bounds ground. Now, if the player's out of bounds, aka the Green Bay and Raiders player there, but the location of the ball is over the field of play, now we have illegal participation. All right. So again, the receivers cannot put a foul on the kickers because the kicker did not kick it beyond the sideline out of bounds. All right. This is a very specific high school rule that, yes, high school officials, you call this correctly and go illegal participation. You might have coaches that say, hey, I see this on Saturday, I see this on Sunday, and then as appropriately as you can say, Coach, I respect that, but today's Friday. Okay, it is a Friday NFHS rule. All right.
We had this situation last year.
We
this
did.
Exact one. The kid jumped out of bounds and reached up, like intentionally trying to get the kick out of bounds.
Correct.
We missed the point of getting illegal participation, but we argued back that it is not kick out of bounds. But we missed that extra step.
Okay.
The coach said exactly that, and that we've been doing it all season.
That situation, where's the basic spot?
All right, so the question is, in this situation, where's the basic spot? The spot is where that ball is now out of bounds. Since I'm out of bounds as a player, I touch the ball is now dead. All right, but it's not kick out of bounds, it's not a touchback. We now enforce that penalty from the dead ball spot. So in that Green Bay situation, I'm going to put that at the 4-yard line, illegal participation, half the distance to the goal to the 2. All right, we're going to come back to that. I know this is what most people have come for, and that is not that yet. We'll get there. NSAA. So I sent out an email today, officials login page. All right, so this is the officials login page. Click go. What a lot of people don't understand, you got to hover over officials, especially new officials, and then scroll down to officials login. All right, so if you don't have a login, that means you have to create one. I, lucky enough, hopefully have it saved correctly. Beautiful double verification. All right, so now we are logged in. The great thing about the Part 1 test, everybody's Part 1 test looks exactly the same. Right? Do I speak right on that? Okay. All right, so even if you don't have the test printed out right now, I would go 1, because 1 through 50 is going to be in the same order for everybody in this room. That's different for the Part 2 test. Okay? So how do we get to the test? Online test. And we are going to be taking the football test. And it is due August 22nd. Please do not wait till midnight. If you wait till midnight, all of a sudden there's a storm, your power goes out, you can't connect to the internet. NSAA probably won't care. All right? You will still be allowed to take it, don't get me wrong, but it might be you could take it so you could work varsity games, but you won't be eligible for playoffs. Done by midnight. Yep.
11:59
Done by midnight. So just tell yourself, let's be done by August 7th. Okay? All right, so this is how the way it works. We have a microphone. I'll do number 1 to role model. Then we'll move the microphone around the room. You do not have to talk loud in the microphone. It will pick you up. I promise you, just talk normal. But I have a lot of situations of what I love about rules tests is why it's a rule. So that way, when it comes to application of it, sometimes the best call is no call, right? Yeah, I went 2 miles an hour over the speed limit on the way here, but I didn't get a ticket. All right? So let's pick and choose. All right, so number 1. The basic spot is a previous spot unless Rule 852C applies for a foul by A or B when the related run ends behind the line of scrimmage when there is no change of team possession. That answer is true. All right, so the example. We have holding in the backfield. And let's say it's a 3-yard loss. Where are we going to enforce that penalty? The holding took place in the backfield. The end of the play was 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage. It's still the previous spot. So guess what most likely the defense is probably going to do? They're going to decline that holding. The reason for the rule change is because the old rule, if there was holding in the backfield, they would go from the spot of the foul. It would be a double penalty. Where the holding was, plus 10. So now it's always 10 yards. All right, so it's a 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Okay? All right, number 2, Lance.
The jerseys of the home team shall all be the same dark color that clearly contrasts with white. That is correct. True.
True.
Unless you're
Best
the Dallas Cowboys.
call is the no call. When I say no call on this one, if you think uniforms are illegal, jerseys, and the other team's not saying anything, text me after the game. All right? Don't be too over-officious on the uniforms. I think there's one team, and yes, I think they are on our schedule, that that have illegal uniforms, and they're allowed one more year to wear those illegal uniforms. If you have that team at home, I'll let you know. All right. I think there's only one more team that does not have new uniforms because of financial. Okay, number 3, Eric.
The ball can have commercial advertising added to the surface of one of the panels. That is false. No advertising.
All right, that is correct. False. They could have the NFHS logo. They could have the manufacturer's logo. All right, but they cannot then have DJ's Dugout logo on another panel because DJ's Dugout paid $300 for that game ball. Okay.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Pushing them just off.
And they can have a school logo. Okay. So the question was, why can't they have commercial logos on football? High school is the last amateur sport out there. All right, they don't want to turn it into Moneyball.
They can or cannot?
Cannot. The school, they can. School, they can.
What did you say was out?
They cannot have. They could have manufacturer. They could have NFHS in school. They cannot have commercial. All right, number 4, Clark.
A player or non-player can trip an opponent. That would be false.
And Clark would be correct. False. Now remind yourself, when you have 22 players on the football field, they might trip on somebody else's leg. A trip is intentional. So that means the opponent lifted up their leg on purpose and took the opponent to the ground. So when in doubt, did they trip? What do you think we're going to do? When in doubt, did they trip? No, they did not trip. All right. When in doubt, it was an accident. You will see tripping. I promise you, when you see it, you will know it. All right. Typically, it gets good 1 foot off the ground, and most of the time, it's linemen. They fall. They're on the ground, and they see the running back coming, and while they're on the ground, they lift their foot.
We had that a couple years ago where he attempted to trip, but he actually missed the kid. But it was his intention to trip the kid.
The big
Coach started hollering at me. I just turned around to him and said, "Yeah, if we would have got him, we would have got him for it. You can't have tripping on when he missed." So he actually has to
Sean.
make contact.
Mark.
Number 5, a player is no longer defenseless once the player's physical position and focus is contracted no longer makes the player especially vulnerable to injury. That is true.
All right, so number 5 is true. This is the best game application I could give officials. Difference between a receiver and a ball carrier. Connect it with the difference between a catch and a fumble. All right, so the philosophy is when in doubt, wipe it out, incomplete pass. No cheap turnovers. So, with that being said, when in doubt, are they a receiver or a ball carrier? Receiver. They remain defenseless. Protect that receiver as long as you can. And it's a fair rule because we're going to keep that receiver defenseless and protect that receiver, but we are also going to protect the incomplete pass versus the fumble, right? So that is a good threshold to have on that defenseless player. Make sure they're a ball carrier. Number 6.
A Team B player must use locked hands to ward off an opponent who is blocking him or attempting to block him. The answer is false.
All right. That is the correct answer. Number 6 is false. They may not use locked hands to ward off an opponent. This happens a lot of times on free kicks. Wedge is legal. They can do it in high school, but they can't be holding hands. They can't be interlocking arms. They have to let go when the opponent is near. They have to let go.
You're good.
Oh, okay. Number 7, a punt may be used as a free kick following a fair catch. That is false.
What can they use after an awarded fair catch? A scoring kick. All right. They could place it on a tee. We have a free scoring kick, and the teams are 10 yards apart. And if that free kick goes through the uprights, touchdown, or not touchdown, field goal. Field goal.
6 points, baby.
Field goal. All right. If that field goal, if that free kick is unsuccessful, what's the result of the play? Touchback. It's the other team's ball on the 20-yard line. So, again, if it doesn't make the end zone, you got to tell yourself, this is a free kick. All right? So, if it goes 10 yards on a free kick and the receivers do not, it's a live ball and the kickers can recover it. They can recover it. I got to remember that case play. I love it. Love it. Okay. Yes. So I saw it way back in the day, Millard North versus Crane Prep. Coach Jaworski did it at Crane Prep. They won the game 3-0 on a windy day. Yep. And we'll get to that. There's another rules question here on that one. All right, number 8.
Number 8. A foul is a rule infraction for which a penalty is prescribed. True.
All right. That is true. There's a foul. There's a penalty. Okay? Foul and penalty goes hand in hand. Number 9, Noah.
Items that are attached to the tooth and mouth protector that do not serve a purpose and function in protecting the teeth or mouth will not be allowed starting in 2026. That is true.
All right, so true. We're not going to spend a lot of time on this. We are not fashion police in 2025. We will address this in 2026. We're going to let the companies sell their material so we don't waste it.
It is true. That's what I thought.
Go for Derek.
10. A down ends when the ball next becomes dead. True?
True. We have a lot of new officials in here. The whistle does not end the down. So you will hear coaches, play to the whistle, play to the whistle. That is incorrect coaching. Okay, the play is dead when by rule the ball becomes dead. All right, so there are going to be times where the ball is on the other side of the field and you have no idea if the ball's dead or not, and you have players continuing to block and a huge shove because they're continuing to block and they didn't hear a whistle. They're nowhere near the ball. The whistle does not end the play. Okay, whistle does not end the play. All right, we are going to go to next section. Number 11.
An invalid fair catch signal may be given by a member of the kicking team. That is false.
That is false. Who can give an invalid fair catch signal? Receiving team. Okay, receiving team has to give the invalid fair catch signal. 2 things on the invalid fair catch signal. When in doubt, they did wave back and forth. Okay, and when in doubt, if you see a signal like, oh my goodness, was that a signal or not? It is a signal. All right, so when in doubt, it is waved back and forth. When in doubt, they gave the invalid signal, and then once there is possession, blow it dead. Okay? Number 12.
A fair catch can be made in or behind K's neutral zone. False.
That is false. Where can a fair catch be made? Beyond the neutral zone. What's that? The receivers. Any receivers can give a fair catch signal, but it's only a fair catch if it's beyond the neutral zone. So H's, linesmen, make sure you hold that line of scrimmage because it is your judgment. Is that ball in and behind, or is it beyond?
13. A simultaneous catch or recovery is a catch or recovery in which there is a joint possession of a live ball by opposing players who are in bounds. True.
All right. So true. Fun fact, if it is a pass and both offense, receiver, defensive back possess it at the very same time, both are in bounds, who are we giving the ball to? Offense. If it is a kick, so a punt, and we have simultaneous possession between the receivers and the kickers, who does it belong to? Receivers. Okay, so simultaneous catch, two different situations. One remains in the offense. The other one remains the team that started on defense. I love it.
Okay, 14. Contacting the opponent's face mask with the hand is not a face mask foul unless the face mask is grasped. That's true.
True. Another tidbit I will give on this. It is very, very hard in football to grab somebody's face mask and that face mask not to be turned, go up, and go down. So if you see a grab and at any time you see that head move, when in doubt, make it a 15-yarder. All right. We should avoid 5-yarders because, like I said, I have not seen a grasp without the pull, twist, turn. So if it's, I think they grasped it, guess what? They did not. And it's okay to tell coach, hey, coach, in my judgment, I had the hand open. All right, because that's a lot of times what officials get fooled on. It's an open hand, stiff arm, and that stiff arm turns the defensive helmet. Or open hand to the ball carrier helmet turns, but it's open hand. Open hand shove is legal. That is not a 5-yard face mask. There has to be a grasp for there to be a foul. Has to be a grasp.
I had one of those a couple of years ago where one team had the Valley Junior High team had 3 15-yard face masks, and then the call on the opponents at 5 yards makes it that makes it a huge.
Yes. So 3 15-yard face masks on one team. Later in the game, 1 5-yard face mask.
Yeah.
That's where we want to try to gain management, match up similar calls. All right. Match up similar calls. All right. Go for it, young man.
If B1 clips A1 and B2 piles on after A2 is tackled, it is a multiple foul. That is false.
That is false. It is not a multiple foul. What is it?
Sorry.
Offsetting fouls, right? No, is it offsetting? No. So we have a live ball and a dead ball. What foul classification is that? All right. I know the answer is false. Okay. And number 15 rule reference is 216.2E. So the definition of multiple is 2 or more live ball fouls. Since we have a dead ball foul, it's not a multiple foul. We have a live ball foul, dead ball foul. So that word multiple is why it's false. We have 2 fouls on the play, 1 live ball, 1 dead ball. Holding, 76, offense, 10-yard penalty. After the play, personal foul, late hit out of bounds, defense, 15-yard penalty. So live ball, dead ball.
Ready?
I know we still have conversations.
Number
Does
6.
that, number 15, everyone good? Multiple fouls, 2 live ball fouls. All right. 16.
16. Towels have to be the same solid color for each player if worn. False.
All right. So 16 is false. What are the restrictions of towels?
Can't be yellow. Can't be yellow.
Can't be yellow, can't be brown.
Cannot be yellow. Cannot be brown. It cannot be a streamer. It can't have a bunch of writing on it. Cannot have the commercial logos on it. All right.
It can be small.
It can. Some teammates could have black. Some teammates could have white. Some teammates could have blue. All right. So that fits underneath that. We don't have to be that strict fashion police with the towels.
The small Gatorade towels that every school has. If the kids got one of those, take it off.
So a lot of times the Gatorade towels, the other side is not all logoed up. I would just have them flip it over. So, but yes, we should not be allowing Gatorade towels with 20 Gatorade lightning bolts on it. Gatorade's smart when they do that stuff. All right, number 17.
An offensive player except the runner shall not grasp or encircle any teammate to form interlocked blocking. True.
All right, so 17 is true. That will happen quite a bit on field goals. Linemen, all right? The linemen could interlock right next to the snapper. They could have their legs interlocked. But they can't then, once that snap, they can't encircle their teammates so the defense can't go through the gaps. So umpires, that's another foul you're looking for on field goals. The defense has to be allowed to go through the gap, or the offense has to move their body to cover up the gap. They cannot encircle a teammate.
That's a 10-yard penalty, right?
Correct. Yep. Number 18.
A player or other person is out of bounds when any part of the person is touching anything other than the other player or game official that is on or outside the sideline or inline, and that player remains out of bounds until returning to the field with any body part touching the field and no body part touching out of bounds. Yeah, I don't. True?
That is true.
So what does that
All
mean?
right, so here's the play. Here's the play. I'm on defense, and the running back is near the sideline. I am trying to pull that running back either out of bounds, tackle him, and my left foot is now touching out of bounds. That running back is not out of bounds. Again, it's a rule to protect the offense. If they remain in bounds, their body remains in bounds. Even if the opponent is touching out of bounds, they're considered in bounds. For some reason, if a coach is so close to the sideline and they're running and they touch the coach, they're still in bounds. If an official, I hope you're not in that close to the ball carrier. I hope you're behind the ball carrier. But if that ball carrier touches the official who's standing out of bounds, that ball carrier is still in bounds. Okay, so that's the play.
For any free kick, a free kick line corresponding to a scrimmage line is established for each team.
True. All right, easy peasy. Any free kick, usually it's the 40 and the 50. If there's a foul, it could be 35-45. If it's an awarded fair catch, now all of a sudden we're doing a free kick from the B43. Now the B33 is that restraining line. All right, so they'll always have a restraining line, and it'll be 10 yards apart.
And yeah, that goes back to that free kick after the
Awarded fair catch. Number 20.
A defenseless player includes the receiver attempting to catch a pass. True.
True. The focus is on the ball. We are going to protect that receiver. I don't believe there's a rules question on this. What can the defense do on this defenseless receiver to avoid targeting hit. That's one thing. Open hand push. With open hands, he could push that receiver as hard as he wants. What's the second thing? Wrap them up. They have to make an effort to tackle. So yes, they could still tackle hard, but it can't be leading with the shoulder. It's got to be a wrap-up tackle. Then there's one other thing. Nope, not yet. Go for the football. All right. That is one part of coaching I do not understand. If I'm on defense, I want the ball, and the only way to get the ball is to catch the ball. Play the ball, and you could hit that receiver as long as you're going for the ball. A bona fide effort going for the ball.
Sean, how often do they call targeting on the offense? Running back goes.
Not enough. So the question was, how often do we call targeting on the running back, lowering the crown of the helmet and contacting the opponent? Not enough. If you see that bull lower their head and go straight through the opponent, that isn't a foul. That is a foul for targeting. If they're going on a downward motion, now they're just getting a yard. It's got to be, boom, straight into that opponent.
Would you say that for attacking the line or also, or just downfield?
It's got to be attacking an opponent.
So if they're just putting their head down and go through the line, they're not targeting.
Correct. Correct. Yep.
And it's not an ejection in high school, correct?
It is. Targeting is not an ejection in high school.
Even if they have multiple targeting?
Correct. It has to be flagrant to be an ejection. But targeting is not an automatic ejection on Fridays. Nope. 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 Flagrant foul.
Or if you determine it.
Yep.
Determine it. Like again.
All right, where are we at here, Zach?
Right.
21?
Any live ball foul is penalized from the basic spot per Rule 10-4 unless otherwise specified by rule. True.
True. That is a fundamental rule. All right, so referees, I hope you're practicing penalty enforcement. Umpires and referees should be masters of penalty enforcement. All right, so we always start with basic spot. All right, basic spot. Go for it.
It is a legal substitution to have 12 or more players participating at the snap or free kick. False.
It is false. Again, this is a lovely Friday rule. All right, so yes, what do you mean? Nebraska did it last week. Chiefs did it the week before. Mahomes snapped it. It's illegal participation in high school. Illegal participation.
Now, depending what's going on in that play, it may be a 5 or 15-yard penalty in high school.
So Christiana made a great point. The key word to that question is participating at the snap. So that means they are 12 on, nobody's trying to run off. All right, they are 12 and they're playing with 12. And even if the pass is clearly away from one of the players, they are participating. As long as they're not attempting to get off the field, they are participating in that play. They are affecting how that quarterback sees the field.
That's when your crew better know what's going on and who's on the field, who's not on the field.
Yeah. Go for it, Austin.
An inadvertent whistle does not end the down. Is that true?
That is false.
Right.
So you remember what I said earlier where a whistle doesn't end the play? All right. This is the exception where, unfortunately, it has to end the play because that is one of the reasons, by rule, the ball becomes dead. Officials, the only way to prevent an inadvertent whistle is not to have that whistle in your mouth until the ball is dead by rule. So those of you who got a new package from us, you got a whistle and a lanyard. I did not purchase you another regular lanyard. I got you an extender. All right. So I recommend if you are one of those officials that you don't like dropping the whistle out of your mouth because you can't find it, get an extender. Now you get to hold on to your whistle the whole entire time. Then when the ball becomes dead by rule, it's already in your hand. You put the whistle in your mouth and blow your whistle. Okay?
No, it's like an extender.
So an extender will prevent inadvertent whistles. 24.
The penalty for a chop block is 10 yards. False. 15.
It is 15 yards. So that's one high, one low, whether it's at the same time or with delay. Chop block, very dangerous. When in doubt, it was a chop block.
Inside voice. Oh, God, there, guys. If R1 blocks K1's punt and just before R1 recovers in K's end zone, there is an inadvertent whistle. The down will be replayed. True.
That is true.
And if that happens to you,
so we have an inadvertent whistle on a loose ball kick, on a loose ball pass. The ball is dead. No option. We have to replay the down. Now, if we have an inadvertent whistle during a fumble, all right, the ball's dead, but the team that was in last possession of the ball can now have the choice, replay the down or take the ball where it was fumbled. Okay, so I know we always say, hey, we won't have an inadvertent whistle, so we won't study the rule. Only spend like 3 minutes on the rule just in case it happens.
It always
just
happens
in case.
once for you guys.
Okay, and let's be honest in here. Who had an inadvertent whistle in their career here? Raise your hand. All right. If you've been officiating,
Sean.
if you've been officiating,
The other guys are lying.
no, the other guys have not started yet, Chris.
Yeah.
They'll have it in week 2.
Other umpires can spit their whistle.
All right. 26, Vern.
26. Following a scrimmage kick by K1, the loose ball play ends when R1 touches the kick. False.
That is false. So JD earlier was talking about a free kick, scoring kick, and it hits at the 5, and it's rolling at the 2. That ball is live for anybody on a free kick. It is not until it's possessed is it dead. All right, so coaches may be watching this as a recording. Please tell your receivers, if a kicking teammate just touches the ball, but that ball is still moving, that ball is still live. We have first touching is all we have. That's what we have is first touching. So now that receiver could pick it up, quote unquote, as so long as they don't foul, it's a free return. Because if they fumble it and lose it, they still have the option of first touching. All right, so coaches watching this, kicking coaches, possess the ball, don't touch the ball. Coaches, if they only touch the ball, scoop it up, run, it's a free return. You have the spot at first touching.
That's it. K touches the ball.
Correct, K. Kickers.
Yeah, so that's it.
So following a scrimmage kick by K1, the loose ball play ends when R1 touches the kick. But it's still live.
Yes, but they don't get a free return on it. That's touching by the team. So now the frequency recovers. It's only first touching the free return.
Correct.
If K touches it, that's your first touching spot, and that means they have to.
All right, so those of you, because it didn't pick up, the answer is still false.
Yes.
If R touches it, anybody could recover it.
The K team cannot take it in zone when they recover possession.
And receivers, as so long as the receivers were the first to touch it,
Yes.
it's not a free return.
But if K touches first at the 15-yard line, R can go and they have that option to take that 11-yard line.
All right, 27. Gwen.
A player who is eligible at the start of the down remains eligible throughout the down. False. True.
That is true. a lot of times where officials,
You should get together with Sean and go over the rules a little bit better.
Thanks for the text.
so that a lot of times what happens, well, what if they run out of bounds? Now they're ineligible. No, they're still eligible. All right. But if they come back in bounds, now there's just a different rule for illegal participation. They are still an eligible receiver. Okay.
They're eligible by position and stay eligible through the down, regardless of what they do. They could commit a different.
All right, 28, Kelly.
Technically, the eligible.
Illegal participation can be a non-player foul. False.
That is false.
Who the hell?
It has to be a player on the field. Okay, has to be a player on the field. If it's a coach, if it's a sideline attendant, it's a whole different rule set. Okay. Number 29, Don.
Players are not required to wear knee pads. False.
All right, so we'll have the knee pad talk here real quick. Okay? I said real quick. Knee pads are required. Yes, if you watch the state championship, you're going to say those players' knees were not completely covered with their pants and knee pad. Work with them. Look for the egregious violators. All right. I wish I could say here, we just take it out of the rule book, but we can't. They have to have knee pads in, number one. And they have to be touching somewhere on the knee and just say, pull it down. Pull it down. Best call's a no call. All right. If you truly have a player like Sean, should we have let this player played? This is a great call. Give me a call. Give me the player number. I'll look on Huddle, and I'll put it on the training tape. I'll send it to Nate. Nate could call the coach if Nate wants that player to lower his pants even more. Okay, so yes, they must have a knee pad in. They have to have a knee pad in. Don't split hairs on is it completely covering the knee or not. If you're truly worried about it, send me the player number and the game, and I'll look it up on Huddle. Let's go afterwards. Cliff.
Effective 2026, arm sleeves, whether
Hold on. Go ahead, Cliff.
Arm sleeves, whether attached to the shirt or unattached, manufactured to enhance contact with the football or opponent, must meet the SFIA specification at the time of manufacture. That's true.
All right, I have 30 false, only because it's 2027.
Oh, man. That's not
All right, effective 2027. All right, so now, blades of grass, don't worry about arm sleeves and whether attached to shirt or unattached. Yes?
Are we still doing our thing about telling the coaches and the captains that, hey, make sure he's pull them down, get them down, cover them up, guys. I don't want to send you off. Is that still our state philosophy? So we don't have the best player out there, not out there,
All right, so we're going back to 29 here. What are we asking the coach every single pregame? Is everybody legally equipped? Hey, coach, when we were walking around the field, your best receiver, number 88, I could see his knees completely. Can you talk to number 88 to cover his knees? I would really dislike taking number 88 out of the game because he's not legal. Please help us. Yep, that's where we're at. Yep.
That happens every game.
Not every game. All right, Eric, 31.
31. A shift which is designed to cause B to encroach is a false start. True?
True. I don't do this too often, but I have a video queued up on this because a lot of times I don't think we've seen this. All right, so I have RQ videos. Here we go. What's the down and distance here, guys? 4th and 1. So if the offense gets the defense to jump in the neutral zone, what's the call? If the offense gets the defense to jump into the neutral zone, what's the call? Encroachment. Encroachment is a 5-yard penalty. It will result in a first down. So this is a perfect example. The white team on offense, this is illegal. It's an illegal shift that causes the defense to encroach.
And the quarterback's going to clap and the
All right, did you see how abruptly that tight end moved backwards on the clap? All right, so again, I'm going to play it one more time. This is situational football. 4th and 1 is a special play. They're going for it. It's a special play. Our red flags have to be up.
And number 11 is going to start in motion.
This is a
The
shift.
quarterback's going to clap and the tight end
2 or more players moving, and it was abrupt, it was exaggerated, it was orchestrated on the clap to cause the defense to encroach. That is a false start.
What did they call there?
What's that? They actually called nothing. Like if you watch the video, they called nothing. But when it comes to high school, once they enter the neutral zone, what happens? Encroachment. Encroachment. All right?
The other time that comes up John, is when they do the
start in motion, and the quarterback's going to clap and the tight end.
And if they haven't done it the whole game, if they're doing it on 4th and 1, you got a decision.
Yep. And the decision is easy. So the example is the cowboy thing where all the linemen come up and then come back down. And the whole game, they've been in a 3-point stance the whole time. 4th and 1, we're putting that on the offense. That's a false start.
So if they're consistent with it,
then they're good.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
If they do it every single down, the defense should know they're doing it. But if they don't do it, except 4th and 1, 4th and 2, 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, now we have an illegal shift to cause the defense to encroach, which is now a false start. All right, 32. Josh.
The team whose goal line is involved shall put the ball in play anywhere between the hash marks on its 25-yard line by a snap after a touchback and by a free kick after a safety. And that would be false.
That is false. What yard line do we put it on? 20. I promise you, one of our crews will do this incorrectly at least once a year. It typically happens later in the season when we start watching a lot of college football. All right, again, that's a college rule. It's 20-yard line. All right. 15-yard line, 8-man. Okay. 15-yard line, 8-man. Good point there, JD. 33. Doc?
When a forward fumble goes out of bounds or is ruled out of bounds between the goal lines, the ball shall be returned to the spot of the fumble. That's true.
That is true. What's the clock status? On the ready. All right, and notice it's in between the goal lines, because if it goes into the end zone, all right, it'll be a touchback. Forward into the end zone. We're out of the field of play and touchback. 34, JD.
On all free kicks, the game clock will start when the ball is marked ready for play. I have false.
All right, so false. When does the clock start on the free kick?
When the ball is first touched, other than first touching.
By which team?
By the receiving team.
Receiving team has to touch the ball to start the clock. All right, receiving team. So once that receiving team touches the ball, we wind the clock. If they land on the ball, so the ball's on the ground, they just fall on the ball, no time has to come off the clock. But if they are upright and then fall, 1 second has to come off. Okay, so reset the game clock to 1 second less.
Doesn't change that in the receiving team. If it goes beyond 10 yards and no one from the receiving team touched it, it's a free kick. So then the kicking team possesses it.
Once the kicking team possesses it, what happens with the status of the ball? No, because kicking team cannot advance a free kick. It's dead. So the ball never was touched by the receivers. So therefore that clock is not going to start. The ball's dead. They can't advance it. The receivers have to touch it on a free kick to start that clock. All right, new rule this year, 35.
35. Electronic audio or non-fixed video communication devices used to communicate with a player are not allowed during an outside 9-yard mark conference. That's false.
That is false because they are. So this is the situation. Timeout, whatever team. And the offensive team goes to the sideline. They go outside the 9-yard marks. That quarterback can now put on the headsets, and they could talk to that coach up in the booth. That quarterback can be given a tablet. That quarterback could watch that tablet. All right, it has to be outside the 9-yard marks. All right, so a player can now have the headphones and talk to somebody in the box. A player can look at a tablet on the sideline, outside the 9-yard marks. They cannot do it in the middle of the field. It's got to be inside the 9-yard marks. All right, 36, Austin.
A safety will be scored when an offensive player commits any foul for which the penalty is accepted and enforcement is from a spot in his end zone. I would say true.
All right, 36 is true. All right, so we have holding in the end zone, safety. Intentional grounding in the end zone, safety. Block below the waist in the end zone, safety. Okay. 37. Once the snapper puts his hands on the ball, players on the line of scrimmage and in between the ends are ineligible and remain ineligible. That is true. They are now restricted linemen. All right, so what happens a lot, and it does happen more in the, if you have a coach who studies the college game and goes to college clinics and they get plays, or you might have a coach who's previously coached in college come to high school level. This is a different rule. College, they can uncover a tight end. All right. High school, they cannot. All right. So once that, the linemen who are inside the ends, snapper has their hands on the football. Now all those restricted linemen, they are restricted throughout the whole entire down. They cannot uncover a player to make them eligible. Okay.
$38. The distance penalty for any foul cannot be declined. That is false.
That is false. You could decline any distance penalty. You cannot decline every penalty, though. What's the one penalty you cannot decline? Ejection. All right. So, yes, it's a flagrant foul, and the other team says, nah, don't eject them. Let's let them play. They cannot decline that. They could decline the 15 yards, but they cannot decline the ejection. Okay?
39. You see it?
Yep.
Go ahead. Whenever you're ready.
39. A handed ball is not a pass. True.
Excellent. True. A lot of times this goes a jet. I'm not going to call it jet sweep, just jet forward handoff. When in doubt, it is a forward pass. All right. When in doubt, it's a forward pass. Because if it's a forward pass and that jet sweep receiver doesn't control it and it hits the ground, what's the result of the play? Incomplete pass. No cheap turnovers. And that's the same philosophy, both offenses. Now, if a coach specifically tells you, as a crew, when we run a jet sweep, it is going to be a handoff. It is. We want it to be a handoff because we want that receiver now turn to passer and throw a forward pass. You just now got to remember that play in your playbook. All right, but if that coach doesn't tell you it's just another jet sweep, when in doubt, it's a forward pass. They don't control it, incomplete pass. Okay?
40. No player participating in the game will be allowed to wear any type of audio or video device in order to record or transmit audio or video. This is true.
This is true. All right, so I'll call this a sneaky player. All right, so when players have helmets on, you can't see their ears, right? So if they just so happens have earbuds in, do you know that as a referee? Do you know that as an official? All right. But now if you start seeing players do this, what are they probably doing? They're probably blocking out the outside noise, listening to something. So that could trigger, and you might as a referee go up to that quarterback, call an official's timeout. Hey, can you take off your helmet? And if they have earbuds in, now you got to remove that player for one down. They cannot play with earbuds in. It's not legal. All right. And that's why it's in the rule book, because guess what? The technology is out there for it.
Is there any penalty that's associated with that?
You remove the player, and they have to sit out one play. If they continue, you could probably go unsportsmanlike conduct against the head coach. All right. But when in doubt, I'm just going to say, hey, you forgot to take off your earbuds. No big deal. All right. They have to come out because they're illegally equipped, just like a knee pad. Illegally equipped.
Can they buy him back in with the timeout?
Yes, equipment you could buy back in a timeout. Injury you cannot. I won't get into that example because, all right, 41. Maybe. Where are we at? All right, Mark.
41. Items that are a part of the tooth and mouth protector that are health risk or risk issued to player that to themselves or other players will not be allowed in 2026. True.
True. Again, they wanted to change the rule for this year. It is not passed for this year. It is passed for next year. They are allowing players to wear those fancy mouthpieces that look like baby pacifiers and spin fans and what's that? They still cannot wear two. They cannot wear two. Correct. Correct. They could only have one mouthpiece. Only one mouthpiece. 42.
A free kick may be recovered by K in R's end zone. False.
All right. It is false. Why can't kickers recover in our end zone? Touchback. All right. Once that ball, forward point touches the goal line, ball is dead. Once they kicked ball, a fumble, they can recover in ours goal. But a kicked ball, so if the receivers muff it and the muff goes into the end zone, that is a touchback, all right? Because the ball is still kick status. And yes, if that happens to you, you will get yelled at. You just have to.
Twice in one game.
Twice in one game. We have the video.
We have the video. No, we did not get the calls right. We did the statistic calls.
Yes. All right, 43.
All dead ball fouls are enforced in the order in which they occurred and always from the spot of the foul. I had false.
It is false. You do enforce them in the order they occur, but you do not enforce them from the spot of the foul. Dead ball fouls are enforced from the dead ball spot. Okay? Oh, this is going to be fun.
Number 44, the uprights on the goal shall extend a minimum of 15 feet above the crossbar. True?
10 feet?
False.
False. 10 feet.
All right, false, 10 feet. So this is how our crew does it. I'm 6 foot, I'll say 6'3", 6'2" and a half. All right, Ben Jensen's 4'2". All right, so I put him on my shoulders. All right, and then I make sure that crossbar is 10 feet, and then we use his head. Is that approximately double the length? That wasn't as funny as people thought. I thought it was going to be. Okay? We do not go on each other's shoulders to measure that. Again, if you have a field upright that the opposing coach thinks is illegal, play the game. Play the game. Turn it into myself and or Nate Newhouse. Nate Newhouse then will contact the host institution and determine if it's legal or not. Okay? We have not had any issues with it, but play the game, please. All right, 45.
A backward pass ends when it is caught or recovered or is out of bounds. True.
True. Very important mechanic here. Backwards passes. If it's coming to you, line of scrimmage officials, what are you doing mechanically? You're punching backwards. You are giving everybody at the field your judgment that this is a backwards pass. All right? Now, what does that tell all the players and coaches? Live ball. Anybody can recover it. What does that tell your teammates as officials? Don't blow your whistle. All right? I'm giving my judgment. This is a backwards pass. Keep this up until when? Until the ball is caught or recovered or goes out of bounds. Now drop it. Okay, so keep that arm punch backwards. It can prevent a lot of bad things just by having that mechanic, that signal.
46. A fumble is the touching of a loose ball by a player in an unsuccessful attempt to secure possession. False.
All right, 46 is false. And what makes it false? All right, the word is not fumble. The word is muff. A muff is the touching of a loose ball by a player in an unsuccessful attempt to secure possession. When in doubt, it is a muff. Okay, when in doubt, it's a muff. 47.
The kicking tee may not elevate the ball more than 2 inches above the ground. True.
True. You may see some tees that it looks like the tee is 3 or 4 inches off the ground. It's the point of the ball that fits into that tee. All right, so though that tee might look like it's 4 inches, where does that bottom of the football, how far is it off the ground when that ball is placed in the tee? That's what you have to go off of.
If any of you guys go to Fillmore Central, it's still the same coach. They have 4, with the 2-inch tees, 4 pads taped together. It looks like a loaf of bread. And he'll tell you it's legal.
And is it?
Have PSOA on it?
Yep.
And it is. Does it have PSOA on it?
One for each letter. 48.
When the ball becomes dead following a 4th down, the game clock must be stopped. That's true.
That is true. So pre-snap, as a crew, we are putting our 2 fists on top of each other and hitting the fist. That is our signal of clock killer. No matter what happens on that play, first down, stopping the clock. Turnover on down, stopping the clock. Foul, penalty, we're stopping the clock. Measurement, we're stopping the clock. We are always stopping the clock after a 4th down. Always. No digital measurements in high school football this year.
49. Ball color, exterior arm covers, and undershirts are legal equipment. False.
Unfortunately, is number 49 false? They are illegal equipment. Illegal. Okay? Last but not least.
Okay, state high school associations may determine the length of halftime intermission, provided it is not less than 10 minutes and not more than 20. True? Yeah, true.
That is true. Referees, this is communication. All right, so when you confirm with the schools, I always have a section, halftime. Is your halftime going to be the standard 15 minutes with a 3-minute warm-up? And if the answer is no, they have to have approval to extend it to 20. Guess who else should know that the halftime intermission got extended to 20 minutes?
The other team.
The other team. Don't assume the other team coach knows. Yes, the ADs talk, but you never know. That head coach might have been out of practice for 2 days. He might have been doing something else at school for 2 days. Didn't get the communication from the athletic director. So if there's anything different, let the other coach know. The other time where it might be shortened is weather. If they know there's a storm coming in, they might turn that 15 minutes.
It is illegal participation when any player, replace player, substitute coach, athletic trainer, or other attendant enters and participates in the game.
Well, we're going to find out here in a second.
But I missed it. So it's,
Okay.
I mean, I know I